Again, we can use double stops as sixth intervals to add embellishment to the chord. I'll give you a few cliches. Strings 5 on the 5th fret, string 3 on the 4th fret, and slide into it. Again, they're coming from our chord, if you can see that they're inside the chord. Here's another one that's inside the chord. Fret 3 on the 4th and 3 on the 2nd. Again, inside, if we look closely inside the chord, they're there. And we simply move that one up a whole step. That's the 5th fret on strings 4 and 2. And we finish with 4th fret, 3rd string, and 3rd fret, 1st string. Again, inside our chord. The only one that's not inside the chord is this one, actually. But it's part of our falling down. Okay, here's another one for you just to add on. 6th fret, 3rd string, and 1st string. And we'll slide those. Again, it's endless. What you would do is single note lines. You can simply if you had a note, so, next note, or find the 6th interval of the note that you would have in your single note line and add it in. Okay, so hopefully there's enough there on the open G chord for you. All the bluegrass stuff and is right under your fingers there. Now we'll move to our 4 chord in the key of G, which will be our C7th. We can stick to just a straight 7th, or we can make it a 9th chord. We've already looked at the 9th before, so that should be fairly familiar to you. The straight 7th we've covered. The 9th chord can be stretched up with the 4th finger here, either on just the 1st string or on strings 1 and 2. Still forms a nice 13th chord. And you might like the sound of that, just the top string, or both. And remember with the chords, half step. Don't always half step, but if they make it too cliche, but you can be the judge of that. So let's move from the 1 to the 4. Let me do that again now with just the straight 7th. I like the sound of the 7th, especially in fingerstyle. Okay. So on our 4 chord, some cliches, 6th intervals. It's moving from 3rd fret, strings 3 and 1, to the 5th fret and back. Okay. And we can also do all the stuff that we'd covered earlier when we shifted to the A form. If you remember when we were doing our blues in the key of E, we used the B chord and we used this movement to get from one form to the other, and then added all our extra notes and hammers and pulls. We can do exactly the same with the C chord. So there's a C, same movement, target the third of the chord and slide into it from a half step below. Now once we're here, we can add all the stuff that we did earlier in E and A. Let me just do a few movements there. Okay. That's a very useful movement to have. In fact, if you're starting to see the picture now that everything we've done double stops here on the one chord, all this, we can simply bridge the gap with the C. And if you can spot it, you can spot the E form of C just here, and the D form. So everything we've already learned we can add on to the C chord. There was that drag. There was some sixth intervals. Double stops. Our movement. The pull. So you can see there's quite a lot of options there, and they're all the same basically. Once you can navigate your way and relate everything that you've learnt to the form, that's very, very important. So if you get a nice idea and it's here, maybe on a G chord, relate it to that form. That means it can be used in any key. Doesn't matter what the key is, if it's B flat. You don't have to relearn it. You're simply relating the notes and the movements to the form that you're playing on. So let's continue on. We're in the key of G. We've got our one chord. And I'm going to show you a similar type of movement, how to get from this, as we did in the C. We'll do it on the G now. So we have our G chord. We're going to target the third of the G, which is B here, and half step in. So just get used to that movement. Let's look at it slowly. Chord, target note, fall back and catch strings 5 and 4. Now that means we can add the same movements as we did earlier in E. Exactly the same thing. In G. Taking time with some of these closed positions will open a lot of doors when you're playing it in different closed keys, such as B flat, or even if you're in D or B, any of those that you can keep the chords closed. You can still utilize the ideas that you've practiced in the open position. So let's go back to our blues and we'll do a few variations on that. basic 12-bar structure. And again, an open playground to add in as many of the embellishments as you can to get familiar with them. Now, single notes can be added. What we should do, I think, now is play our turnarounds in G, just to give you them, even though they'll all be exactly the same as we've learnt in E, but I'll give you a few cliched ones here. We'll start off with just the one string moving down. So, high G, and our F note here, 3rd fret, 4th string. Okay, followed by the 5 chord. Okay, now we can do 2 strings. We'll have strings 4 and 2 with our high G, all on the 3rd fret, and we'll have the strings 4 and 2 moving down and open. So let's try that one. Open. Our 5 chord. Again, you can try any of the ones we've looked at in E and transpose them into over the G chord.